Hi guys, good morning. So let me mount you precariously on this thing here on my table. So I'm just about to finish my skincare routine. So I already done all of my toners, things like that, and I'm just going to be adding some of this vitamin C essence that I've talked about recently in my video about my favorite Japanese skincare products. So that's one of them. It's from Unlabel Lab. And I was actually planning on doing a sit-down vlog today, but it just turned out that it's a little bit impossible to do so because the weather is bad. Now, it's not stormy, but the conditions look stormy, so I'm gonna insert videos here. But it's just the easterly winds blowing very strong today, and also it's making everything cloudy. And according to the weather forecast, it's going to rain today. So I don't want to risk creating a video and then all of a sudden it's going to rain because it's just going to drown out the audio. So instead, I just decided to vlog today. And it's also good timing, I think, because my partner and I were leaving for Manila on Monday. And if I did do a sit-down vlog, it might be a little bit difficult for me to edit whilst we're on the verge of going back to the city. But anywho, so yeah, so I just decided let's do a very casual type of vlog for us today. And it's also at least one way of showing you guys what I'm planning to do now that I'm about to close down our home here for the next month or so. And yeah, so that's just basically it. So right now, by the way, I'm using my Namerakahonpo Retinol eye cream. Now, I failed to mention in my favorite Japanese skincare products that this also has a nice tightening effect, and it also has a very nice brightening effect in the under eye, and it kind of forms a nice film on top. So it just also helps to keep your moisture there. And the final step in this skincare routine of mine is a face gel. So this is a Monolaurin Gel, and I always love applying this on my skin because it just mattifies my skin, because after all I'm oily, and because I shaved today, this really also helps to give my skin some antibacterial protection, also some anti-inflammatory protection, because after all I just shaved. So I'm gonna run this all over my face practically. Yeah, so one of you guys actually did comment on my favorite Japanese skincare vlog that the birds were chirping so strongly. And the main reason why is because one of the trees here in the house, we call it the balete tree in Filipino language, but I think in English it's some kind of a ficus tree, wherein it's actually bearing fruit, and all of the birds were having a feast. And let me just point it to you guys here. So it's actually that tree over there, and oh my gosh, there were flocks of birds converging on that tree. And I think for a little over a week it was very, very noisy, but I love it though, because sounds of nature is actually so amazing. Yeah, so that's it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I need to go downstairs. So let me just put on the final step of my daily process, and it's wearing perfume. So I am using the Torre de Hermes today, and I love wearing perfumes even if I'm just at home, because it just kind of complete the entire look or the entire feeling. And I have been enjoying this perfume. This was gifted to me by one of the actresses I've been working with last year, and it took me a while to actually enjoy it. There's a little bit of muskiness in it, and also a very masculine scent, but as it wears on during the day, it kind of mellows down in scent, and I've actually kind of enjoyed it. So yeah, that's it. Torre de Hermes. Okay, so let's head down to my home office, but first some, whoops, see how strong the wind is, some lip balm. So let me get my lip balm. So this also is a lip balm that has monolaurin on it. Again, it's very nourishing and very refreshing for the lips. So look how thick it is, and it has a very nice balmy texture that I actually love. And I use this for everything. I have bites, I have scratches. As I've said in previous vlog, Monolaurin has a certain anti-inflammatory ingredient which is actually perfect. Example, if you are someone who has chapped lips or bites and scratches, that is actually so good. So anyway, I'm just blabbing, so now let's go down to the office. Alright, so I'm gonna be wearing my avarkas today. So this is a very old avarka that I have been wearing here. So let me just flip the camera over. So would you look at that? The leather is actually fraying on it, so it's actually already showing its age. So I've had this for a very long time, I think since 2013, and I absolutely love it though. So it's like my slippers here at home, and I love that my toes have a leather covering, so at least it protects my toes in case if I bump into things like that. Okay, so well, change of plans, because I wanted to talk about some makeup related stuff, but I just realized as I got into the office here that there's a wedding going on in the small resort beside the house, and I'm scared that the audio might get copyrighted because they're playing so much music. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pack up the Christmas tree, and then maybe a little bit later when everything has calmed down a bit and there's not so much background noise, I'm gonna come back and let's continue talking, okay? Hey you guys, so we're back in the bedroom, and the reason why I'm here is because I need to put on some brows because I have decided to shoot a YouTube short for my favorite Japanese skincare products now that I don't have any beard on. So let's not put it to waste, if you know what I mean. As the saying goes, your brows are sisters, not twins, but I think mine are cousins twice removed. So I just need to balance them out. And I actually like using an eyebrow pen for this. So it's really nothing super exaggerated or extravagant, but I just want to keep the natural shape of my brows, keep it very simple and just properly filled in but not overly drawn. Okay, so I actually prefer the general shape of this brow of mine on my right hand side, so I'm just gonna try to follow this shape. So I'm gonna fill in this brow first because this is the one that has so much gaps in it, and this is the one that I need to map out properly. And of course, I already know that my brows will never be balanced because of the scar that I developed here as a child. Okay, so I am using this Chikuhodo spoolie here to guide my hairs, and I have this eyebrow pen. This is a local brand here in the Philippines, and it's called Strokes Beauty, and this is in the color Graphite. Okay, so let me just fill in the gaps that I need to fill in. I'm using very light strokes here, nothing exaggerated, and that's it. Okay, so let me brush my brow hairs downward, and then let me fill in the gaps found here. Okay, I just need to fill in a little bit more here and here. Perfect. Okay, and now let me do the edges of this brow here. Very simple. And I'm just using, again, light strokes, because balance is always the key. And I also need to create some, like, individual hairs here, because that can just really help to create a nice shape for me as well, but without overdoing it. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so I'm gonna shoot some YouTube shorts and then I'm gonna come right back. All right, you guys, so it stopped raining for a bit, which I'm thankful for, because at least we can walk around the garden, because I want to show you guys something that I showed you back in October when I was here, wherein I talked about this awning over here, which actually, got broken when there was a storm that passed by here, but I've seen that they've restored it, so I'm very, very happy with how it looked like. So now, usually when we're about to leave for our home in the city in Manila, we take a look around the property and try to see which things need to be fixed. And one thing that needs to be fixed, as soon as possible, is actually that gate that leads to the beach. So let me show you guys that. There it is. So the gate is missing some portions here, and that needs to be fixed ASAP, because there are some sharp barbs here that we've actually covered with some plastic bottles, so that if one of the dogs decides to jump over, they won't get hurt. So we are actually fixing the design of this. We're modifying it a little bit just so that the dogs can't jump over the fence. And the reason why that's important to do is because my Pharaoh hound, my big dog Tanner, has learned to jump over the fence after seeing my two other dogs. Because Milu, the white one, the medium-sized one, loves to jump over the fence, and also Machuca, our mutt. So it's very important that that needs to be fixed, because at least it's just going to keep them safe inside the compound instead of jumping out of the gate, when especially when we are not around to watch over them. So we've been fixing that fence for a very long time, repeatedly over and over, because of course if you live near the beach, seawater or salt water always corrodes everything, may it be metal or even wood. It's always a constant thing that we have to do here. We always have to constantly check the house, and that's why sometimes when we buy appliances, things like that, we try to buy the most analog version, because if it's a top of the range or top of the class appliance, sometimes it doesn't work here, because the electricity also of the island fluctuates, and they end up getting destroyed more often than not. And speaking of which, we've actually bought power surge adapters for our big appliances here, because there was one time that two of our air conditioning units here got busted because of the way that the electricity of the island works, wherein sometimes we have a surge of electricity, and then one day we don't have electricity at all, and the constant fluctuation of the electricity just really damages everything here in the house. So that's one of our learnings that we have done here. Okay, so at this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make some coffee, and then we'll go to the kitchen, because I'm just going to discuss with you some of the stuff that I've been window shopping online for. Okay, welcome to the kitchen. Okay, so I have here a cup of freshly brewed coffee, and then I also have some vanilla cupcakes. So I made this yesterday, and I have a bunch here on the refrigerator that we'll be taking with us when we'll be driving back home on Mondays. So I always make this when I am here, because we have a an extravagance of bananas in the island. Okay, so anywho, I'm just gonna let the coffee cool down just a little bit and let's discuss some things that have been released recently. Like for example, Lisa Eldridge released her Pinpoint Concealer Pencils. I'm very excited with that. Now, although concealer in pencil form is not a novel idea, but I'm actually very interested to check out the formulation of her concealer pencils because the concealer pencils that I've tried before, they're very creamy, and although they can really afford you to be very precise with your application of concealer wherever in the face, sometimes it's actually the formulation that doesn't work to your advantage. So I'm actually very, very excited for this. Now, I did order a number of colors from her. I just saw the email today that it's about to be shipped, so I'm hoping to get it in a week's time. So I'm just hoping that it's gonna be much more faster now, because the last time that I ordered from her, it got to me I think after a month. Okay, so from artistkitcompany.com. Now, I love going through the website of Artist Kit Company. It's like a haven for makeup artists, especially if you are someone who wants to scale down your makeup kit. And I have been thinking of scaling down my makeup kit for the past few months now, especially that we are in between homes. Okay, so anywho, so the first thing that I am going to be talking about is this liquid palette here. So this has been in my wish list for quite some time, and I love that you have wells in this palette because you can use it for liquid or creams or even skincare products. So I believe I've talked about this before, but the only reason why I didn't buy it the first time around is because this is expensive at $40. And also at the time I purchased the brush bag, the big version. So if I was going to put that together and also with other stuff that I bought from Artist Kit Company, it was going to be too expensive and I would have to pay a hefty amount of custom tax for that order. So that's why I had to put this aside. But I am still eyeing this very much and I really need to have it super, it's been haunting me. Okay, now the other thing that's also haunting me from Artist Kit Company is this brush bag mini. So it's the mini version of the brush bag. Now, I love the brush bag that he first released to the market. I actually reviewed it, I bought it. So if you're interested to hear my views, I'm gonna put a link down on the description box to that vlog, okay? So yeah, so I'm actually very interested in getting the mini version of the brush bag. So the only thing that's keeping me from purchasing them at this time is that shipping costs are too expensive for me, and I am actually looking at friends who might be coming home within the next month or two, and I'm gonna beg if they could carry this for me. So I'm looking forward to having this in my kit, and I'm just hoping that they don't sell out soon, because that's gonna be heartbreaking, if you know what I mean. Alright, next let's go on to Beautylish. So for Beautylish, I have 4 items on my basket. And the first one is this RCMA Makeup Foundation Adjuster Palette. Now this has been going in and out of my basket for a long time, years even. And the main reason why I don't buy this is because I keep on forgetting that it's there. And then the second thing that's in my item here is this Danessa Myricks Beauty Groundworks Blooming Romance Palette. Now, I fell in love with Danessa's Groundworks Defining Neutrals palette. I think it's one of the best palettes that has been released. I loved how it worked with me and my makeup sentiments. And I'm actually looking forward to trying this out, especially come February for Valentine's season. I think this is a great palette to use. And also one other thing, I think this is a great palette as well, especially for the bridal season, because you have very nice pinks here that I can see in it. So I'm looking forward to this. Now, the other thing that's here is this Lit Cosmetics Water Resistant Glitter Base. Now, I have not used glitter bases before, but I do have to say that I do have a mixing medium from Meron. I just need to double check though if this Lit Cosmetics Water Resistant Glitter Base and that Meron activating liquid has the same ingredients in it, because it would be such a waste if I have these two products but they actually work the same way. So I just need to double check again, really delve into the ingredients to see if they're the same, and if they are, then I don't need to purchase this Lit Cosmetics Water Resistant Glitter base. So yeah, so that's how I think. Okay, and the final product here is this Natasha Denona Mini Eye Sculpt Eyeshadow Palette. Now, I was very attracted to this because you have 5 eyeshadow colors that are very basic, that is needed in your kit and your eyeshadow makeup routine. So what I love about this is that it has warmer shades in it as well, which will work for me because I have olive undertones in my skin. So the warm tones here, the red tones will just really pop. Although I do have a number of brown eyeshadows that share almost the same shade range as this eyeshadow palette, but I think this is just a nice way to try out Natasha Denona. I've been eyeing her line for quite some time, and I think this is just the one that has been calling my name loudly for the past few days, because I go through basic eyeshadow colors very, very fast. So maybe this might be my first eyeshadow product to try out from Natasha Denona. Okay, all right, so now it's time for us to talk about makeup brushes. So I am at foodiebeauty.com, and I actually have a list of eyeshadow brushes here that I'm very interested in getting. So I have 2 eyeliner brushes here from Shiseido. So this is the YMR2 eyeliner brushes, and I'm interested in getting one in a blue handle and one in a red handle, because that would just be very easy for me to differentiate visually which eyeliner brush that I'm using for a specific color. And what made me very interested with this is that the bristle material is made of weasel, and I have said this before, I love weasel eyeshadow brushes because I can use them in more ways than one. I can use them with powders, creams, gels. So I'm looking forward to having this and comparing this to the other weasel eyeliner brushes that I have in my collection, and I think it's only from Hakuhodo. Now, speaking of Hakuhodo eyeshadow brushes, I have 3 here on my basket. Now, these 3 eyeshadow brushes have been on my list for quite some time, and the only reason why I didn't get them is because 1, they're not available, and I can say that for the S146, because I have been very interested in getting this, and every time that I go to a Hakuhodo store, may it be their flagship in Aoyama, or may it be in Mitsukoshi, or even in Hiroshima, this is not available. And I actually want to get this in the vermilion colored handles, but unfortunately it's not available. And I'm a little bit impatient, and that's why I am diving and getting this S146 in the black handle instead. So it's gonna come out cheaper than the S100 flagship series, but I've been wanting to have this in my collection now for quite a long time. Now, these 2 anyways, so the G5520 and the G5511 are just a much more bigger version of the other tapered eyeshadow brush and eyeliner brush that I have in my collection. I'm interested in getting these 5 eyeshadow brushes. I'm not gonna get it anytime soon. I'm just gonna pace around. I'm just window shopping at the moment. And every time I look at purchasing eyeshadow brushes, it's always something that is useful for me, and that's why I'm very interested in getting these eyeshadow brushes. Okay, now the other thing that I am seeing here while we are at foodiebeauty.com is that Kyoto has actually released a very limited edition brush set. So this is the Yoshiki hand painted 6 brush set. So I have actually seen this brush set when I went to Kyoto during the past Fudematsuri, or the brush festival, and when I saw them in my hands, they were actually so beautiful, and the bristles were very, very soft. Now, the only thing that was keeping me from purchasing this is that I cannot afford this set, because as you guys can see here, it costs around a little bit over 200,000 yen. So it's gonna be around $1,300. So I don't have that at the moment. But look at that. So the bristles are made of blue fox bristles. So I don't know how that's gonna be like, how it compares to some brushes from the Ren series of Chikuhodo, because after all, those are also fox bristles, but they're red, and also how they're compared to the regular Chikuhodo fox series lines, like the FO series. So It's actually very, very interesting to see it. Now, when I was at the Brush Festival and I was at the Kuyudo head office, I remember I was having a conversation with a girl. Her name was Dalinka, and like, you know, I think Master Yoshiki was wondering if he should come out with a version wherein we still have this very beautiful, like, you know, handle design, like, you know, his, like, you know, hand scribble design, but you have a different bristle type wherein it's just going to be much more affordable. And I think that's one thing that Master Yoshiki has been, like, you know, thinking about. And, like, you know, in my head, like, you know, I don't think that something as elegant as this will have a, like, you know, either a white psycho hole bristled brush head, because, like, you know, looking at this very dark bristle tips with a gold ferrule here, and then it's very nice, like, you know, a black handle with the scribbling, which I'm sure has, like, you know, gold dust in it. Looks very elegant, and I don't know how it's gonna look like, or it's gonna translate if you have, like, you know, white psycho hole bristles as a replacement. So it's very interesting. So what are your thoughts though? If you're someone who's a foodie lover, would you like to see, like, you know, a Saikoho version of this handle design? Please let me know down in the comments box, okay? All right, so now we're at foodiebobo.com, and I'm actually very interested in getting her collaboration release with Chikuhodo, which is her nebulae series. So she has a new brush, and it's actually the S01 brush. So it's a blending brush that has a mix of tea squirrel and weasel. It looks very interesting here. Look at that. And the price is also quite affordable at 4,840 yen, which is not bad. Now, I'm actually loving the nebulae series of Foodiebobo. If you are looking at trying different types of bristles with different brush head designs and also different mixes, I think this is the best series to check out. So it's just going to be very enlightening for you, and I love that you can use it, like, you know, in more ways than one. So I'm just wondering why the tea squirrel was mixed with weasel. So I think the weasel would just give, like, you know, enough strength, I guess, in the bristles for the tea squirrel. Now, I don't know what tea squirrel is. This is the first time that I have read this, and I don't know if this just is a description for the color of the bristle of the squirrel hair. So I think I'm gonna have to message Foodiebobo and ask her about this. But yeah, I'm very interested in getting this. I love the shape of the brush head of this blending brush. It's nice and round, and it has, like, say, it looks like a J146 brush from Hakuhodo as well, but I think it's just going to be a little bit bigger. I think it's actually very pretty. I'm looking forward to this. Super. Yeah. Okay, so those are the things that I have been looking at for the past few days. Like, you know, since after the new year, when I'm not doing anything, so I've been, like, you know, window shopping, and I'm actually looking forward in adding a lot of this into my collection this year. Okay. Yeah, so at this point, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let you guys go, because I'm gonna have my banana cupcake and my coffee, which has cooled down fantastically, and then I'm just gonna come right back at you guys, okay? Okay, so there's a sudden change of plans for today. My partner and I were supposed to go to the gym, and we were also supposed to pass by a store, but we're gonna do that tomorrow. So I was supposed to bring you guys with me. I think I would have to defer that to a future vlog, because it's not gonna happen. And if I'm gonna wait until tomorrow, it's gonna take some time, and I might not be able to edit this vlog. But before I let you go for our vlog, I'm gonna show you guys that the cabinet here is the cabinet that I was talking about when I vlogged back in October, wherein I was switching cabinets. So that's how it looks like. I think it looks perfect here, and I love that it's white, and, like, you know, the glass is there, and there's also light, and it's just, like, you know, making everything look, like, you know, bigger here in the kitchen. Yeah, so that's it for me today. So again, if you guys have any more questions, please let me know down in the comments box. Let's have a conversation about it, okay? So I'm gonna let you guys go now. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope that you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye.